So,
Sure.
so I went ahead and started the recording. So I'm going to, of course, edit all of this stuff too.
All right. Great.
Okay. Hey guys, this is Roxy with Meet Roxy Jordat, and today we are meeting with Matt and Misty from Eagle, Colorado. Tremendous entrepreneurs in the marketing space and online marketing space. So Matt and Misty, thank you so much for being on this interview with me today. I know it's really tough taking time out of your schedule, being successful as you are. So thank you and welcome.
You're welcome.
Roxy, it's great to be here. Thanks for having us. We're really excited to chat with you today.
This is so cool. And you guys are sitting outside your house in beautiful Eagle, Colorado. The sun is out, the trees are blooming. This is just crazy. That's a crazy life you got going on there, right?
Yeah, really.
So my very first question for you two is, at your core essence, who are you as individual people, and who are you as a couple and a team, you know, in your entrepreneurship? Can you answer that for me?
Why don't you kick that off, Misty?
Oh. Actually, as a person, I kind of love helping people and giving back to people. And if there's something that needs to be done, I love doing it for them. I think that, you know, life is precious. And I think that every moment of the day, we kind of take advantage of it. So I love just trying to be in that moment and just reminding people it's not that bad. As a group, as Matt and I, he's really similar to that, and he wants to give people an experience in life, and he really wants to be the person that says, hey, Matt's the guy that took my little boy on his first camping trip. He wants to be that person that just, you know, thrives for those first experiences and just giving people the moments that they, you know, lack in society. So, you know, that's kind of as a group, we kind of feed off of a little bit of that, but you know, as a core, we really like just being out there and helping people. I used to work in the cancer center, so I know that the bucket list that people desire. And so if I could help people, you know, get those bucket lists or understand that you really don't have to work all the time and they can live this kind of a lifestyle because they see it through us. People are always saying, why aren't you working? Oh, but we are. It's just a different mindset.
Yeah, I think that, you know, Misty puts out a lot of good points, and, you know, whether you're religious or spiritual, or you're just, you know, living your life just to be around and help others, most of the lives around the world and the country have been designed around working your life away. And I think that a lot more people need to stop working their life and start living their life. It's crazy to me to see, like, even my parents, you know, my dad had a brain tumor. He just got 2 new knees. He's had open, you know, he's had surgery where they literally cut the top of his head open and rooted it around there with a stick, as he likes to say. But he went back to work because he doesn't know any difference. And he's 66 years old, and he really, you know, he doesn't know how to retire. And yeah, he's at this point now, you know, he's got 2 new knees. He's having some trouble with his speeches. We spent a lot more time, and it really drives us to go back there and see family more. But at the same time, like, I wish he would have had more time to do the things that he loves, as opposed to, you know, he stopped because he felt like, you know, having a family and working for that family, there was only one way to get there.
Yeah, but I think he's really seeing your lifestyle, and we're actually succeeding some of his bucket lists. So Matt wanted to scuba dive with him. Was a month ago we were in Cabo. and he was scuba diving with his dad.
Yeah.
And he was just, they came back from, and of course I'm on the beach with Mom because that's what I like to do. And they came back, and the grin and the enjoyment and the, oh, we went scuba diving and we went sailing, you know, I think he's seen more of that, and I'm hoping he's going to come out this summer into Colorado. And he's kind of like doing a little bit more. As of 3 years ago, I think he'd still be like, I can't take off because of work.
Yeah.
So
it's pretty nice now too, because I don't think he truly believed that we were going to be able to just send them plane tickets and bring them to Mexico with us. We took him on his first all-inclusive vacation. He's never done anything like that before. In fact, he was uncomfortable, like ordering drinks and food and stuff, because he was, afraid of how much it was going to cost. Like, it doesn't cost anything. It's already paid for. You get to do all this stuff and just enjoy yourself. And a lot of people don't ever get to have that experience. And if they do, it's that, that one time that they get to go on, a big vacation for their honeymoon or something like that. And I just think that, people should be able to do that 3, 4, 5 times a year.
So I think you can start hearing some of that coreness in our voices.
That, I'm blown away. That, okay. So now I've got to ask you, because that's really where I come from too. Excuse me. Is I watch so many people work their life away, and they never really experience life, like true life. So I want to ask you guys the next question here that's popping into my head. I've got several questions moving around in my head. Was there ever a time in your life that you were in that situation where you didn't believe that you could take the vacations that you're taking now, or that you felt you were trapped? What was your mindset growing up and then moving into adulthood and where you guys are at now? Were you ever in that place like Matt, like your father is or was, and he's coming out of?
I was a little bit different than where he is. I went to college to be an architect and realized that the workload and how much time people have to commit their life to being an architect, just to the point of actually being able to just be an architect. Not only just the school, but the entry level stuff and the CAD programming and all the stuff that you've got to go through just to get to that point, and the hours. And the majority of the architects that I ended up speaking to, just they weren't really that excited. There was a couple of them that kind of like hit it big. They got this experience of a lifetime. They got to design something really, really cool. But the majority of them just had a regular job. And I started getting into restaurant work, because restaurant work allowed me to go to the beach during the daytime. I lived down in Charleston, South Carolina. And then it allowed me to take off whenever I wanted. That's one of those few jobs where they don't really care if you take off. There's always someone to fill your spot in a restaurant. Mm-hmm. And then I felt like, I could make as much money as I want. Sometimes we were making, $400 or $500 a day and still never having enough money to really take the trips and do the things that I wanted. And it gets this nasty cycle that you get into even in that career, where you work to live. You're going out, you're spending every dime you make on going out to restaurants and hanging out with your friends and doing all that kind of stuff. And you lose the excitement of actually living your life, because that's not living your life, just going out at nighttime and wasting your money. You do that because you feel like you're trapped, and that's your one time of excitement. And once you can break free from that, and I knew my personal experience breaking free was I went to Italy. I thought that I would, this girl that I knew was going to Italy, and I was going to chase after her and go, go to Italy at the same time she was going to go. I bought a separate ticket, and then I got out there and I got everything stolen my first day in Italy. My passport, my money, all that stuff. And I was in Italy for a month, and I had a Euro pass. I went to the consulate, got a passport, and I was basically stuck there. But I still got to travel. I got to go to Spain. I got to drive through the south of France. I went to Holland. Got to go all over Italy. And the reason I did was because there were so many people in Italy that just reached out for no reason without me asking, just to help me. And at that point, there was no, I struggled many years to try to do things a different way, to get out of the regular, 40-hour-a-week job. But I knew from that point on that there was no way that I could go back to living just the normal life and taking one vacation a year. There was just too much to see and too much to experience in this world to be satisfied with just, 1 or 2 weeks of vacation a year.
And Misty, how about you?
Oh, my favorite moment in time was when I was 16 years old. My mother had a birthday party for me. And in the end of that party, she says, "Yay, you're 16. Go get a job." And I was like, oh. So the next day, she took me to the closest fast food place that I could walk to. And she took me in and she made me get a job. And so I got a job, and she said, "Now that you have a job, you could pay for everything." And I said, oh, okay. You're just 16 years old. That's kind of a little bit of a curve in your mind. So with that to be said, I worked super hard in high school, ran track, had a job, and didn't go to parties, didn't do anything. I was kind of the dork in school or whatever. All of that stuff kind of curved me into, I've always carried 2 to 3 jobs because I've never thought that there's enough money to pay or to live a certain lifestyle, because my family, they didn't live a big lifestyle. We didn't do too many vacations. If we did, it was like maybe 6 or 7 years. It was a family reunion. Well, that's not fun.
Yeah, right.
And so we didn't do anything. We maybe would go camping. And so when I moved out of the house, I thought, I'm going to start living. And so I kept my jobs, and then I started skiing. And I lived in Texas, and I started really enjoying doing stuff. And so I ended up getting into the hospital work style, and that will destroy your person. They work hard. I was working 4 10s, and at times I would work 8 10s just to get 2 weeks of vacation in a row, because you couldn't get more than 4 days in a row off. And so if you wanted that, you'd have to double time. And so I would do that, or I would work 6 10s or 6 12s. And that's usually like a 14-hour day, like in a row. I used to work at the coffee shop in the morning and then work at the hospital. So there were several days just moved to Colorado, and there were several days that I would go 1 day off in a month. And so I was really worn out and tired, and I met Matthew, and he's like, "This is what I do, and you can make a living." And I said, "No, I don't believe you." And so I was like, like everybody else, I was like, this is a scam. I'm going to stay at my hospital job until this makes the mortgage consistently for at least a certain amount of days. And so, and it feeds the dog. I mean, you got to feed the dog.
Totally.
So, because it's definitely a different kind. It's a fluctuation, and if you're not a good budget person, you'll never be able to see the outcome of it. Because if you can't, money is huge in online marketing. Because if you can't manage your money, you can't manage your business, and if you can't manage, you can manage your money at working at a job, because it's always going to be there, and you just have to, that in 2 weeks you're going to get paid something, and you can plan. In this type of lifestyle, it's not always 2 weeks, but maybe it's the 3rd week, and you have to manage and be smart with it. So there was a lot of different things that I had to curve and change in my life and look into money and do something different. But 2 years ago, I quit the hospital and was like, I'm over it. This feeds the dog. And it was so scary for me that I went and got a rafting job, just because it is such a hard, like, what do you do? You can get so lazy in it because you can get up and you don't have to do anything, and you're like, oh, I'll just go back to bed, or I'll just do and it's so hard to just get motivated and just pretend that you're at work. So yeah, it definitely took me a little while to get into this mindset, and then now I'm here. I think we went last winter. We went for Thanksgiving to Baltimore, and then we were home for 4 months, and I was thinking, where are we going now? I need a trip. I can't sit here for 4 months anymore. East season's not good this year. We got to go somewhere. It gets a niche to get under your belt and right now I'm thinking, where can we go camping? I don't want to sit here anymore. We got to go do something. So it's definitely a good fix.
Tell her how many. So the first year that Misty left the hospital, she wasn't even sure that she would leave, so she took a sabbatical.
Mm-hmm.
And during that sabbatical, we went to Mexico. That was her first time in a plane in a really long time, like to the point where, like, I hate to embarrass you, but she was crying in a plane. Mm-hmm. And then now we go on a plane all the time, and she loves it. I mean, that's the difference in how she traveled. And that one year we went to Mexico, to Baltimore, to the Outer Banks of North Carolina, to Aruba, to Mexico again, to Montana.
All in 1 year.
Yeah. And that doesn't even include the camping trips that we went on in our camper around Colorado. Yeah.
So I'm ready to go to the Outer Banks now.
Yeah. Oh, we went to Florida too. We went to Orlando. Yeah. We stayed at this big Swan Hotel, and went with my family, and did Disney World and all that stuff.
Because I've never seen that. So I love doing the I've nevers.
Man, you guys got it figured out. Totally figured out. Hold on a second. So your stories are so amazing, like Matt and Misty, and where you come from, and I'm really glad I asked that so people understand that, we all, I shouldn't say all, but I would say 97% of Americans believe that they need to go into the traditional workspace, right, and do that 40, 60-hour job a week. And Misty, I can identify with you in the health field. I worked in corporate finance, but I saw the numbers, and you guys that are on the floor, I mean, when you are on the floor, that is crazy what the hours and what it takes.
Yeah, you don't get a lunch break. You don't get to sit down, or it's kind of like you're pretty much on your feet and you're running for 12 hours. If you do get a lunch break, you're usually playing catch up, or you're, walking around eating, because there's always something going on. That definitely makes it hard for me to sit down at a computer.
Yeah.
So I do have my challenges in this field, but it definitely takes a lot of motivation and just sit there, just focus.
I think about that, like how your mom took you to get your first job at age 16, and then in going into the healthcare world and working 2-3 jobs to make ends meet. And then you meet Matt, and Matt's like, I got this figured out where we can, don't have to do those 40, 60-hour job work weeks. And so I can see the transition. Hold on a second. Emma, no. My dog's barking.
That's okay. I can barely hear.
She can't hear. So taking that transition of, having 2, 3 jobs and then working that intense job in the healthcare industry, meeting Matt, who has it figured out, right? He's like doing this entrepreneurial journey and creating an income where he doesn't have to work. I'm just curious that transition that you made obviously is working out, right? Because you guys are taking all these trips all over the world, actually, and you're including family like Matt. When we very first began on the interview, you were talking about how you took your dad and how special that was to spend that time with him, with his the cancer and what's happening with him. So describe to me a little bit or in detail of what your daily life looks like generating that income. Are you leveraging systems? What are you doing that you can just take off on a plane and fly wherever you want, whenever you want? Okay. What does that daily work look like for you and Misty at this time?
So there's two different kind of, I guess, paths that you go through. One is, no, it's not just a, get rich quick kind of deal where you come in and just pay some money for someone to run a business for you. You got to start with just producing and doing stuff on a regular basis. And, there was a time where I was taking, 9 to 15, sometimes 20 calls in a day, prospecting for work, trying to make things happen. And as you get better at things, you can start to automate more and more and more. And depending on what your skills are, investments, I happen to be someone that I like to talk to people and I like to help and fix whatever their problems are. Other people walk in and they hate to do that. Like Misty, that does not want to get on the phone with people like that. She likes to help people, but talking to strangers on the phone is not her cup of tea. And then as you get through that process more and more, you start to get to be a lot more picky and choosy about who you work with. You get to work with a lot higher end clients. You can show some results. You get, even better clients. But Misty changed mine because even though I was working so much, I hadn't focused on the financial or the wealth building part of it. So, there's times in my life where even before Misty retired, I was making more money, but had less. So that's a big thing in our relationship that Misty does way better than I do, is that management side. So whether you're doing it yourself, you have your significant other or your partner helping you, you have to have someone on that wealth side. Otherwise, you could end up in this perpetual trap of just doing the same thing over and over and over again. And you can turn this lifestyle into a job. So we've gotten to the point now where we really have a schedule we stick to. We even try to, get to the point where we make a point to plan trips and schedule things to do. Like July, we've already got 2 camping trips planned for our camper because we need to make sure that we're doing stuff as opposed to just being trapped here. And I can do my job and do my business from the camper, from Mexico. I mean, I had my biggest month ever from Puerto Vallarta.
Yeah. So he would take 8 to 12, or sometimes if he woke up earlier, he would take 8 to 1, and he would lean back in the room. We had the Wi-Fi, and he would just do his work while I went and had breakfast, read a book on the beach or something like that. And then he would have sales call and then meet me at the beach at 1 o'clock. And that was enough. We have another day that we drove 10 hours up to Montana, and we like to break it up in 5 and 5. And so we drove 5 hours. He had 3 sales calls, made $1,500 in 5 hours driving. And every time somebody, they were like, we really want to get together with you, we would pull off the side of the road and get them all dialed in and get their stuff going. But it was kind of fun because I sat in the passenger seat with my notebook and he had his earbuds on, and that was just our day. So our days don't typically, it's not at home. It's not Monday through Friday, and it's not a certain time of the day. It's just wherever our person like he is so much better at nighttime, and I'm that morning person. And so it's kind of like we kind of somehow come together like in between.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, but it's not always at the house in front of the computer. You know, sometimes we'll be, like, I think when we were in Montana, he'd just sit in the morning and do his sales calls, because we like to do stuff in the afternoon, or he would plan it about 4 to 6, because with our family and our group, everybody would kind of wind down at that time, and the kids would, you know, settle in, and he could do a little work when we're with family from him. We just figured out as we're going.
You know, Misty calls them sales calls all the time. And yes, if I get into that point, they are, you know, technically, I guess you would call them sales calls. But once you find something that you really like to do, so I was helping people, you know, build their businesses. I was helping them learn different kind of advertising techniques and help them automate things in their life. And because I was waking up every day to literally people got on the phone because they needed help. They wanted to talk to somebody that they thought was a professional and could help them. It doesn't turn into a sales call anymore. You might even call it a coaching call. And the more you give to people, the more you get back. So, you know, I didn't get paid. They were free calls. And the more that I gave people, the more that they wanted from me. So that was kind of the excitement for me is, you know, whether you want to do a podcast or if you want to do, you know, just information, if you want to do custom services, you want to just do technical work for people. As long as it's something that you don't just get, you know, you don't dread doing every day. I like taking the calls. When we get on the, you know, we go out to a bar, I talk to people about the same stuff that I'm sitting next to at the bar. You know, I like that stuff. And if you don't like that, if you're not willing to have that conversation without trying to sell somebody something, just something that you're excited to talk about, then switch and do something different. You know, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and you know, he wants to learn a little bit about affiliate sales, where you're selling someone else's product and you're getting a commission for it. And a lot of people don't know what that is, but you can do that with almost anything. You can do that with Amazon products. There's websites online that you can just pick and choose different things. And what I told him was that, you know, you're never going to be successful with that unless you're selling something that you personally use and you bought because you wanted to have it and you use it, not because you're trying to sell something just to make money. There are some people that do sell stuff just to make money, but their enjoyment is that technical side and the numbers and the crazy strategies. It's not the products. Most people need to be excited about a product or a service or something that they're specializing in. So, you know, like if you're really excited, I saw a site yesterday. It's a company that markets high-end skiing and surfing trips.
Oh, sweet.
So one of the trips that I was looking at to go on with Misty is I told you we have a travel club, and the big thing is I want to go on trips and do stuff. Like I want to go and learn how to surf and learn how to kiteboard and you know, I want to go, like I went scuba diving with my dad and she sat on the beach with my mom. So we have to have that compromise. So this company has a trip to the Maldives. It's a 5-star resort. They've got, you know, the spas and the restaurants, the all-inclusive. They even have an underwater nightclub at this place.
Nice.
They've got professional instructors to teach you how to surf in this, you know, clear blue water, while she can sit on the beach with the, you know, the other ladies and well, other men also like to sit there and do the spa stuff. I mean, I like to get my massages and stuff too, and get that stuff done. But then I saw at the bottom of the page, there's an affiliate link. And if you're really excited about it, you can sell surfing trips. If that's something you're passionate about, find the coolest surfing trips in the world and then find people that want to go on them. And that's something that you can stand behind and be passionate about. You know, same, you know, and there's tons of other things like that, whether it's, you know, you're a soccer fan or you're you're a foodie and you want to do restaurant stuff, work with restaurants. And work with restaurants that you really want to go to and experience. You know, you don't have to just work with, you know, restaurants that need you. Every restaurant needs more people. Every restaurant needs a better, you know, appearance online. If that's something you're excited about, then you can get behind that. Until you find that, it's going to be really tough to to make it happen and enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that deal. And what you said about entrepreneurs making this their business a 40-hour work week, it's like that's the wrong reason to get into entrepreneurship, or they get into that trap where they're not experiencing that life, right? And so I'm really glad you brought that up, because that happens to a lot of entrepreneurs. And then they're just like, oh my gosh, I could just well go get a 40-hour work week job and do the same thing and have guaranteed money, right? So it's all in that mindset too. Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about this travel club, because it fits right on in, like you were saying, passion. You guys like to travel. So I know you're developing this travel club. Expand on that some more. Tell me some more about that.
So I really love to travel. And I like to go with other people that like to do the same stuff that I like to do. And when we were, when I was in my 20s, it was really easy. I could say, let's go to Costa Rica in September. And I could tell my friends, the next thing I know, 15, 20 people want to go travel with me. But then, people start graduating college, they get married, they have kids, they get into their jobs. And next thing you know, like, hey, let's go to Costa Rica. And no, we can't go. We've got work. We've got kids. I can't afford that right now. We've got to take our one vacation to go to our family reunion this year. And those people kind of started disappearing. And as I got more freedom and more, financial mobility, I want to travel more and more and had less and less people to travel with. Now, I like to just travel with Misty and go on experiences. But at the same time, Misty had already, I think, mentioned on this interview that I like to have experiences with people, and I like to give them those one-time or first-time experiences. And I like to plan that stuff and plan these, just absolutely amazing trips. Like, one of the trips to Costa Rica was, we went down to Costa Rica. We got some really cool houses up on the mountain looking down on the ocean. We spent a day at the beach, surfing. We went on a snorkeling trip. We got 4-wheel drives and drove up the beach to this beach. You had to drive through these rivers and stuff, and you got up to this little town, and then we went out to the beach, and nobody knew it, but all of a sudden all these sea turtles, thousands and thousands of sea turtles came, gliding up to the beach. Going on, the zip lining tours and whitewater rafting stuff, and at the same time, now we can do that stuff and have that layer of luxury added to it. Because Misty's not going to go stay in the hostels and the dirtbag places that I used to stay at back then, but I can still do that same stuff now. And I have a lot of friends that are, starting to get to that point, whether they're entrepreneurs or they've done well in business, and some of them have families and some of them don't, but they're getting to that point where they want to travel again. And we're also meeting a lot more people. Like Misty meets someone on the ski lift every day that asks us, what do we do? And how, we're like, well, we live here. Like, you live in Vail? Like, yeah, we live here because we like to ski. So we decided to live in a place that, Misty chose this for skiing, but I chose this because I chose at, I guess, like 21, 22 years old, living in Charleston for a few years already. I would never live anywhere again that I wouldn't go on vacation. So,
yeah.
We're on vacation on a regular basis anyway, because we live here where everybody else wants to come on vacation. And then we want to make sure, now it takes our level of traveling up another notch. So I just got off the phone before we got on this interview. I had, a friend of mine from Charleston and a girl he's friends with. They live in Austin, Texas now. And we're talking about, doing some really cool traveling experiences for not just couples, but for couples, for families, for people that are, in our age range, from, late 30s to, mid 60s, that want to get out there. They want to experience something. They want to have a good time. They don't want to necessarily do the planning, which I get really excited about. I like doing that stuff. And then we can go on these trips and develop friendships and do this kind of stuff and meet other people. So you get one person to go on this trip, and then they invite their friends, and then you make a new friend, and now you have a new traveling friend. Every time we go to our place in Mexico, we meet another couple, somebody else. There's actually 2 different couples within 20 miles of us that we met in Mexico that we didn't even know that lived right here in Bay.
Oh, wow.
So, now we go down there. The last time we went, they were down there for a couple of days while we were in Mexico when we took my parents down there to go scuba dive with my dad and stuff. And as you start developing those things, you start, experiencing these really awesome times. And, we still have to have our romantic trips and do that kind of stuff. But at the same time, to give people that experience and to be able to, the idea that we can go on 5 or 6 trips a year and make an actual travel club out of it, as opposed to, some people just have that one trip that they go on, and, they might be a family trip, some friends trip. But we had some friends that came to Charleston every year, and they had their family trip to Charleston every year, and it would get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. But then the kids got older, they started going on their own trips, it starts dissipating. And I don't know, maybe it's my grandfather, I think, is the one that really did this, but he always managed to get everybody back into that group to go in places. We went to North Carolina every year, got to the point where we had 2 gigantic houses on the beach that held 20 people each, and we would fill it up and have people sleeping on the couches and on the floors, and no one would miss that trip, because there was always an experience, whether it was going to the lighthouse, or we would build these giant sand sculptures at the beach, but there was always an experience that he was really good at, and that's why people wanted to travel with him. And that's, I don't know, I guess that's what I got from my inheritance was I love planning trips like that, just to give people like a once in a lifetime thing, and something they don't have to think about. They just have to show up and it's done. They don't have to show up in Mexico and go through the brochure and see like, which company should I hire to go scuba diving? Should I use this one, or this one? This one costs a little bit more, but is it worth it? And I like to do that research, and I can sit on the computer and go to all these different websites and look at reviews and go check out places on my own and enjoy that. And that takes the stress out of other people's life. They just want to go on that trip. So that's what we're doing right now. I'm in the process of planning that, a beginners to intermediate surf trip, where we have a luxury experience. We're going to get anywhere from 12 to 22 people to go. My friend Jason is planning more of a cultural trip to Charleston, South Carolina, where we'll do some dining, some fishing, some beach experiences. And then this other lady, Ariel, that we're working with, she wants to plan something a little bit more family oriented. So, a really, really nice vacation where you can also bring your kids and have that experience as well as a family. So we're trying to incorporate those 3 different kinds of trips into this one club. And right now I think we're pretty set on it, but we're not positive. We're gonna stick with the ETA club, so the Epic Travel Adventure Club. Jason's already designing T-shirts. What's your ETA? So
Estimate time of arrival too. Wow, that's so cool. Like, I need to get with you.
Our trips.
I need to get with you guys and check out what trips you're planning and see if anything fits into my schedule.
Sit in a lounge chair and go to massages with Misty, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Some of the trips, and I kept telling Matthew, I'm like, don't make them so big, because there's so much in the U.S. that is to see that, people just forget about it. You don't necessarily have to travel abroad to get your adventure.
Yeah, so we'll do short trips too, weekends, long weekends here and there, even if it's just, planning a camping trip. So we'll go out to the flat tops here in Colorado, invite some friends out there. And, it doesn't have to be a big ordeal. It just has to be something you like to do. Yeah. And that's what.
But it definitely has to be something small. So, what I've learned in this, business is that you have to start small and to earn that trust with people. Mm-hmm. And if you just jump, and they see that you jump twice a year, that's not a huge thing. So that's kind of like, we like to do things like little, that way, if you were looking into this kind of a lifestyle, you would see, wow, it really works, because bam, 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 they're in all these different places. So it's just a lot of this business and a lot of this, you know, building new businesses and whatnot. There, a lot of it is earning trust. So
yeah,
I think that's what we kind of always try to work on, is just building, you know, finding those people that, you know, that trust, like, yeah, I'm going to bring my family with you as a stranger.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, because you can be an expert at a lot of things. I mean, that was one of the big things that we took away from Austin, was that, you know, to be an expert, you just have to know a little bit more than other people do about a certain topic. And if you jump into something and you share what you really do know, and you continue to learn more about it, you can be successful. But if you come into something and you fall for that, you know, we'll just go around and tell people you're going to teach them how to make $10,000 a month. If you're not regularly making $10,000 a month and you know exactly how to do that, then don't do that. Teach them something else. Teach them something you just learned how to do. You know, so it's like, you know, if you're really good at traveling and planning trips, you know, teach people how to pick the right outfitter to choose. What questions that you ask people. You know, if you're really, maybe you're a soccer coach. You know, teach people some of the skills and lessons that you have. There's websites out there where you can actually, you know, sell your coaching program, and not just as a coaching program, just as a lesson. And they do it the same thing for teachers. Teachers can go out there and they can publish their, you know, third grade math lessons, and other teachers will purchase that and pay for that, because they've done the really hard work, and they're getting an expert's view. You know, if you've been a teacher for 20 years, this new girl that just got out of college, she's getting in there, she's frustrated with, you know, trying to get some of these kids to really understand a concept, and to have a professional teacher just mentor them virtually from anywhere in the world. You know, you can do that, and you can do that from Mexico, from the Maldives, from Cabo, from, you know, from anywhere you want. You can do it from Texas. And once you get into that groove, then, you know, you can find something that works with you and around your schedule. You know, don't have to keep being a teacher, even though you're an expert at it. You can use those expertise in a different way. And if I could share anything with anybody, you know, if you wouldn't do it for free, if you wouldn't show up and do what it is that you want to do for free, if it's not something you just do for fun, then switch what you're doing. Find something different to do. I mean, there's always something that comes into business that you don't want to do, whether it's your accounting work or something. You can hire people to do certain stuff like that.
Yeah, and I'd totally do that for free.
But in general, like, you know, there's so many things that are available at the touch of a button now. Why not do something that you really enjoy doing?
But don't ask me how to write a blog, or how to write a how to write what is it, a headline for something. I'm like,
they have headline analysis analyzers. You know, it's a resource you can use.
That's the part that I would branch out and let somebody else take care of. I will pay them whatever they need to be paid to be creative with their words, because that's not me.
I have a program that does it for me.
What's that, Matt?
I find programs for most things that I get stuck on. So writing stuff in general, I freeze up. I'm better at talking. So like, I have a program that when it comes to writing headlines or advertising for Facebook, stuff like that, I just plug in some information and it automatically writes it for me. You know, sometimes you got to correct some weird things that, you know, might accidentally get put together. But in general, there's something that can walk you through the processes, whether you're hiring an outsourcer or you're finding a program to do it for you. Get those things done for you, because that's the whole point. I mean, if you end up working 40 hours a week to have your home business, you might as well have a job.
Yeah, no kidding. Hey, I'm curious, like, so I met you guys down in Miami at Lifestyle Design International. It was our mastermind. No, that was the Freedom Experience down there. And then I got to see you guys in Austin at the Excel Mastermind. How much has being part of that company as an affiliate made a difference in your journey with being an entrepreneur and creating this lifestyle, even if it's an education or revenue, whatever it might be?
Well, a lot of it for me is, so we are part of the Core 30. So we got in December, and we were the first 30 people that entered into this company. And I have really seen the company from December 5th, I'm thinking it was 2016. I've really seen this company grow and support people in a huge way. Financially, mentally, physically. They're always thinking outside of the box and trying to help build the person rather than sell their product. So it's really huge for me, because going into it in the very beginning in December, I was like, okay, yeah, we're the Core 30s. We'll just disappear as it gets bigger. And that is not the case. Jeff, Andrew, they know your name. They know your story. They remember your story. And if you were to walk up to them, they would give you a great big hug as if you're family. So for me, I think this company has, that's not something that you find when you're at your job. You're not going to go up to your boss and give him a great big warm fuzzy hug, because you probably will get in trouble, and he or she will probably look at you like, what are you doing? And so that's kind of different. I'm a fuzzy kind of person. I don't like hugs, but I definitely like the smiles and stuff like that. But I'm not like a touchy-feely kind of person. But anyway, I like the mental, the mental, positive, always encouraging. It doesn't matter if you are not doing anything and you don't do anything for 6 months. They're still in there saying, you got to work hard. They're great coaches. It's just, they're really good. They're good people that really want to see people thrive and grow. What I took back from all of that is they just have all of this financial, with the different steps that you can use. There's all sorts of different things that you can, if you're not doing good with this, but then they've got somebody that's a little more organized, they've got that to enter into their personalities. They just have everything for each different type of person. And I don't know, I think financially they've helped us grow. I think spiritually, all of it. I think they really grow the person rather than focus on sell.
Yeah. They're definitely a lot different than most companies out there with affiliate programs that just want you to focus on their affiliate program. So you can make lots of money, and we've made money with LDI. But the big thing with LDI is, just like we talked about earlier, is you've got to be able to use the product that you paid for without worrying about selling it. So you get a really deep knowledge of how online sales work. You get a knowledge of how to outsource things, how to run your personal life and business, financial information that we talked about that also earlier, is, learning how to build your wealth. So there's so many people that come into this world, and, a lot of the ones that you see that have these big success stories where they might have made, $30,000 to $100,000 in a month. That's great, but they end up losing it all because they don't know how to save. They don't know how to invest in things. And, to see these people that have, that look like they're just untouchable on the internet, and be able to reach out and actually touch them and see that they're just normal people. They've made tons and tons of mistakes, and if anything, they've all made more mistakes than we've made.
Yeah. You can look on some of their websites and you're like, I don't see, like, we have donations, like on our stuff. We can, for the people that want to do a donation, out of your business, we have those different links that we can donate to those different places. And donations really help your business because it gets you out there. It gets, it's good for tax purposes, it's good for it's good for everything.
Tony Robbins says it pretty well. You should start donating right away. It's something to do with your mindset, and if you can't donate $1 out of $10, you're never going to donate 1 million out of 10 million. And it's something you can start right away, and it's something like little things like that they add into this experience and this lifestyle. It's pretty great because I'm sure that you've been in tons of different businesses and companies, and most people in this online virtual world have hopped around to try to figure out what they fit in. And it's not that anything's bad or wrong. It's that it's really just figuring out how to get that daily routine and figuring out something that you're good at and you can excel at. And, it's not usually the company's fault. These guys have gone a different direction with LDI, and as opposed to really pushing you just to make money with their system, they're developing entrepreneurs. They're teaching you how to make your own products, how to make your own system. And once you have that entry level thing that makes you special, makes something that you're good at, that you can help people with, then everything else just falls into place. Your advertising becomes free. Your lifestyle becomes easier. You can manage your day and get everything done in your first 3 or 4 hours and not have to do anything else. And it doesn't matter whether you're a top producer for Lifestyle Design International, because that's not what they're here for. They're here for the actual learning experience. It's like, if you went to school to be a doctor, but the only thing they wanted you to do was sell more people college programs to come to school. Like, that's not the point. Is to learn how to become a doctor, because that's what you want to do. And the point of Lifestyle Design International is to design the lifestyle you want and learn how to afford that lifestyle, whether it's doing something that you really care about, like a travel club.
Yeah
She was cheering.
Oh
yeah. Misty thought you were telling me to shut up.
I was like,
you're good. No,
sorry.
Okay,
I'm agreeing.
Yeah.
Some people do this. I do this.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think,
Raise the roof.
I think Jordan, he'll give you all of his tips on how to make a movie, and he won't even charge you. Like, he won't even charge you for that. Where some people are like, no, you have to buy my, webinar or whatever for such and such to make. And so you purchase that for $10 or whatever. You get to the very end of it, and you're still confused, and you're like, well, that was pointless, and I just wasted 10. These people are, all three of them are giving, like, it's kind of like, wow, this is really good stuff, and I'm not paying extra for it. And they're just wanting to genuinely help you to just excel. And okay, I could probably be a movie star now if I just continue to look at Jordan's stuff. But it's different. They're not out there. In the beginning, I thought, this is kind of different. We'll see how this goes. And pretty much from the very beginning, we haven't been lost in the process, where we should be, because it's the company is getting definitely larger. But it's anytime you go to an event, anytime you get onto those webinars, they're calling you out by your first name, and to hear your name and to people remember your name is huge in this kind of world. So
you remember in Austin how Jeff went around the room and called everyone by their name and did not hesitate. I mean, he was spot on with everybody in that room, and that's, like you guys said, that's just amazing that they remember us.
And I'm really bad with that. I need to practice more on that, because I'm like, what's your name again? And da da da.
Yeah.
That's what you did at nighttime. he had a flip book with all of our pictures, and he studied because he cares. I mean, he wants to make sure he can do it.
Yeah.
Dude, he was nervous too. Like, I mean, he basically challenged himself, you know, in front of a group full of people that were, you know, holding him accountable. And he literally went through and, you know, got everyone down to the, you know, the photographer that was there. Not just people that were there, you know, to get the experience, but people that were, you know, just some employees and outsourcers that were there to help for the event. And that was a pretty big deal. And to have people like that on your side, and they're really the only thing I guess they're looking for to from you to get more guidance and more help is to show initiative. So if you're willing to actually work hard and try new things and actually get things done, they're willing to go above and beyond. I mean, Jeff, I believe he said it was like, you know, if you're willing to put in a foot, I'm willing to put in a mile. As long as you'll keep taking a step and step and step, I'll keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And you know, he's not someone that'll sit around. He works harder than anyone else.
Yeah.
I mean, the man doesn't sleep.
No, he doesn't.
He sleeps like 4 hours a day, and I'm thinking, or like in 24 hours, he sleeps 4. But I was thinking the other day when I was out doing gardening and I was picking up these rocks, because we are in definitely the Rocky Mountains and they're everywhere. So I was picking up these rocks and I looked up at Matt. I'm like, do you think you would carry this thing for a whole week? I don't think so.
Wow. That was an awesome lesson he did carrying that rock. Yeah.
Yeah. And so every time I'm out in the garden and stuff, I'm always thinking, and, you know, I'm just like, you know, weeds are everywhere. And I always think, I'm like, you know what, this is so crazy because the weeds are people. And I always think that they're people and they will swarm all the beautiful flowers and the beautiful everything. And so if you know, you just have to like if you're gonna, you know, what they've kind of taught me in mindset is that if you're focusing on your business, you make sure that business is flourishing with beautiful flowers and beautiful everything. But there are so many weeds that want to get in and choke it, and woe is me. And that's why I have a hard time talking to people, because I'm like, suck it up.
Right. Put your big girl pants on. Right.
Let's go.
Let's go.
I don't have time for this stuff. Everybody has challenges. Yeah. So I have a hard time, and, you know, to make sure to keep those weeds out, because you're always going to find those people. And I think that you know, in the very first mastermind, we were down in Denver, and in that very first one, you know, they really talked about weeding the people out and who is going to be good for your business and who is not going to be good for your business. Most people don't think about that stuff. They're just out there, more money, get more people. How many people can I get? And Jeff and Andrew, and they're really picky about what kind of personalities. They're like, you want to talk bad about us? We're going to delete you, because we only want positive people that are positive and good, like good energy and everything. You know, we want those kind of people because that's what's important in life.
And Roxy, we were talking about the travel club that we're putting together.
Yeah.
And even though the travel club's not necessarily to make money, it's to have fun, to have more people to travel with. It's the same principle in the travel club as any other business that you're going to go in.
I'm not going with some drunk people.
We want to handpick who we want to go with. So, you know, one of the things my mentor that taught me about group travel in general and how to organize it and you know, do all that stuff, that was one of the things that he said, the same as, you know, Jeff and Andrew and all those guys say is, you know, you got to pick the people that you want to work with or you want to travel with. So in that particular business, you know, we're looking for people that, you know, are a little bit more affluent than other people, because we want to be able to go on trips and not fight about prices and little things like that. I want to be able to go out to eat and not split the check 15 ways. So if you're someone that likes to split the check 15 ways and you want to just, you know, get your check at a party, I don't want to go out to eat dinner with you. I don't want to travel with you. I'll be your friend. Well, we'll go to the park together, but I don't want to go out to eat with you. And, and I'm looking for I'm looking for people like that when I travel. So I want people to go and travel with me, and if I want to go surfing, I want them to go too. Like I don't want them to just go on this trip and I'm the only one that wants to go do the special stuff. So if we're going to go on a scuba trip, I don't want people to come on the scuba trip and not want to go scuba diving, right? So you want to hand pick all those people, and I want to go to the place I was telling you in the Maldives. So you've got to be able to relax, just kind of go along with the flow. You can do your own thing whenever you want to, but some people show up on trips, and we had this at one of those Costa Rica trips where they show up and they just don't want to do things with everybody else. They want to, if we want to go to this restaurant, they want to eat at home. If we want to have a big meal at home, they want to go out and eat by themselves. We went to Nicaragua, and we went grocery shopping, and I don't know if you've ever been to Nicaragua, but it's really inexpensive. You can buy literally you can fill your entire car up to the roof for $100. It's crazy. And we went there, and a bunch of people were complaining about sharing groceries for this house that we rented on the beach. So once I learn about those, and I take step by step in designing these trips, I make sure to wean people out. And sometimes it is better to pull the weeds and get rid of people right away, even though you might get that extra sale. You might make a couple bucks in your business. The stress of dealing with someone that you don't want to deal with when there are billions of people out there to work with is unnecessary. And that's a big thing with business in general, whether you're selling a coaching package or you're doing a travel club. Do it with people that you really get excited to be around and that you want to deal with, because there's tons of people that for LDI in particular that want to escape. They want to create a different kind of lifestyle. They know it's possible, and there's a lot of people that are just looking for a free ticket. And they want everything done for them, and they think the world is against them. They don't understand the idea that this little iPhone that we carry around has more computing power, and that little thing, you could do more with just your iPhone than you could 15 years ago with a room full of computers.
You don't even have to sign in. You could just tell Siri to do it for you. You will do it for you.
So the last 5 days or 7 days I have operated off of my cell phone. This is the first time this morning opening up my laptop computer to do this interview. Yeah.
I mean, we do a lot of times, when we're on the road, I'm doing, 90% of my business on my cell phone. And I mean, you can do everything from, your phone calls, your video chatting, you can place Facebook ads. There's some more technical stuff that sometimes you have to pull your computer out, but if you do it smart, you can hire someone to do that stuff.
But that's being in the ditches. Or is it, did Jordan say it's in the ditch? Yeah. Or ditch. Wait. Yep. Did you watch that? The niche.
Being in the niche. Yep.
Being in the niche.
Yeah.
I always watch the thing that I don't ever comment or say hi or anything, but it's usually on in the background and I'll be doing stuff. I really needed to get on my big speaker so it'll go throughout the entire house.
I love it. Matt, I totally agree with you on being selective on who you're working with and even travel, because 9 times out of 10 I don't tell people where I'm going when I travel, because people always want to hop on and go with you. But I'm more of a small group type of person, and whoever can hop in the vehicle and let's roll to that destination and just go for that life experience. For me, sometimes it's you get so many people involved and you get so many personalities, and it's like, I just don't want to deal with it. Let's just roll. Let's just roll.
You have to find somebody that can pack a week's worth of stuff in a duffel bag.
Yeah. Totally.
Anything bigger than that, shenanigans.
That's why I moved into ultra light packing too, because and that's why I live a simple life of non-materialistic things, because it's the life experiences that really count for everybody that's involved.
I think God always says, don't hold up your treasures on earth.
That's right. Yeah. Well,
Lessons.
winding down here, you guys, you really opened up and showed us who you really are, and who you showed us what being a true entrepreneur is all about and why we come into this industry. And I really appreciate that with you guys and what you've brought to the interview today, and some really kind of some aha moments for myself. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys getting on the airwaves this morning and talking with me. But before I leave and before we conclude this, is there one thing in your mind that you're thinking, I wish Roxy would ask me this, or a lasting word that you want to leave with the audience? And then also, where we can keep in contact with you and follow your travels, or keep in contact with what you're doing to generate income and leverage systems online. So I'm going to open it up a little bit more, and you guys can answer those questions.
Yeah, I mean, definitely reach out and find us. I'm Matthew J. Kramer with a K on Facebook, and this is Misty Pure Joy on Facebook.
Yeah, but we always just have people like, find Misty Pure Joy.
And don't just friend us, send us a message, say hi.
Okay.
We want to experience people. We don't want just a bunch of random friends on Facebook.
Yeah.
I can get 10,000 fans on our Facebook page in 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing this for a long time. It's not hard. But our personal Facebook friends, we haven't even got to 5,000 or even close to it yet, because we don't just friend people just to get more people on there. We want to make a connection with people and make an impact in their life. I mean, I'm sure there's a few people on there that I don't really know that well. But in general, we use it for what it's for. We use Facebook to meet and learn about other people and reconnect with people across the country that, it keeps you connected with people that you've lost in the past. If I could say anything,
but I think that when we direct people, we usually direct people to Pure Joy Lifestyle. And that's our page.
Yeah, Pure Joy Lifestyle is our Facebook business page, I guess you would say it. And the only thing that we really use it for is giving people things that they can use on a daily basis. Right now I'm putting together something where in a matter of 100 days, you can have enough money to either retire or go on more vacations, an extra $4,000 a month. Plus how a lot of these companies out there, for doing something that you can do in 10 to 15 minutes a day, will buy you a car. They'll give you a car allowance of $1,000 a month. Doing something that's super easy. And we like to recommend free or very inexpensive tools that you can use for any particular kind of business. We don't necessarily need you to come to join us in our LDI business. We don't need you to come to our travel club. But if we can show you something that you can use in your everyday life to make your experience better, and like I said at the beginning of this, I want people to live more and work less. I hate to see people just work their life away. So take trips, ask off work, do something a little bit different. You don't have to, you can have a job and still have an exceptional life. You just need to figure out how to balance the two together. So, I think that everyone in the world should, especially in the United States, I think we're one of the worst at this, needs to get a passport and go somewhere that they've never been before. Cross those borders, see what other people are like, and not only will give you a different outlook on the world, it'll broaden your mind, but it'll also, give you that ability to realize that there's a ton of people out here that are living this lifestyle.
And it also overcomes your fears. So when you see me in Paris or something, you know that I've overcome something huge, and I've sat on a plane still for that long. And we made it, and that's huge. A lot of people have the hard time, especially now in society, with sitting here. I think that you said that if you wanted to ask us something, my thought was, Facebook and other entrepreneurs, they're always thinking about, and they're posting me. but we want our business about you. And we don't post a lot. We try to post some stuff, but we don't post a lot about on our page about us, because we want it more about what we can give you and the people and everybody else. And it's not about us. It's more about them, and, just to hold them accountable and less of us, because selfies, I mean, like all of that stuff, our society has become me, and less of you. So.
Well, I'm going to have to say that I might disagree slightly with Misty on that.
No,
and the reason I do is one of the things we actually learned at the mastermind down in Austin. People need to see your experiences. They need to see a life worthwhile living. They don't need you to show off your life. They don't need you to be.
Yeah, we do that.
They don't need you to be, kind of look how cool I am. But they do want to see your experiences. They want to know that it's real. And you can use those experiences to show people. So, that's what I was saying earlier about showing people easy ways to do things. The reason I can show them easy ways to do things is because I'm showing them what I've already done. Yeah. So if I want to teach someone, I want to show someone like, hey, I'm not going to go out and say, hey, check out my cool new Lamborghini out here. I'm not going to do that kind of showing off. But I will show life experiences. I will show people like, how you can extend your Mexico trip by 2 extra weeks if you're just willing to wake up and put 2 hours of work in every day while you're there, and how to do it from the balcony with room service breakfast, that kind of stuff. And I think that that's something that you can do, but you're also showing people not just, you're not showing off your life. You're teaching people like this is possible to do.
It's kind of like you just hopping in the car and not telling people, but all of a sudden there's a post on your Facebook. This is where I'm at now. Kind of like the Where's Waldo kind of thoughts.
Yeah.
Where is Waldo?
Where's Waldo?
In general, I mean, I guess what I would leave off everybody with is, the reason that our website and our Facebook page is Pure Joy, is because Misty had this experience a few years back before I even knew her, where she was up on top of this mountaintop climbing across this spine ridge like this, where it's just, hundreds of feet down on either side of her, thousands of feet. And
Misty weighs maybe 100 pounds, and it was very windy that day. And so I'm up on a 14,000-foot mountain on a ledge.
And this person she was with, her friend, turned around and she had this just ear-to-ear grin. She wasn't thinking about anything else in the world. She wasn't thinking about the cancer center. She wasn't thinking about money. She just had a complete look of pure joy on her face. And if you can't find those moments in your life, then you need to search out a different way to live and a different way to create the income in your life, because that's the whole idea of our lifestyle design company, is to live a life of pure joy, to work doing something that you don't need to get paid to do. You would love to do it anyway. Do things on a regular basis that you like, and live every day more than you work it.
Yeah. So Pure Joy Lifestyle, that's how that all came about, was on that mountain, on that ridge with that big drop down, and just experiencing the wholeness of life at that moment.
Where were we the other day? We were chatting about, entering in and doing this stuff. And sometimes you can get in here and, you're really passionate about whatever you're doing, and you walk into a crowd, you can't talk to anybody, you feel uncomfortable. Sometimes you get on one of these webinars and you just can't figure out what to say. Maybe you're trying to make a blog post. And one of the things that I found, that if you really want to get in there and you want to do this content, you want to give back to people, you've got to be in that pure joy mindset. So for me, I need to do something that pushes me. So
I took him rock climbing a couple days ago because he was in this funk. And I was like, we haven't traveled. This isn't working. And so I scheduled a day, and I told him, by the way, we're going rock climbing in the morning. He's like, what? You're doing it. And so all I saw the whole day, and I just watched him, just nothing but grins.
Yeah.
And then when he got back, it's like, wow, I really like that. That was like, I mean, it gives your body the adrenaline that you're lacking.
Yeah.
It gives yourself endorphins. It's
Yeah.
what our bodies need to get focused sometimes.
And you might be going to live music for you. It might be, just something that you just really, really love. When I found these mountain bike trails, we live on some of the best mountain biking trails in the country, literally in our neighborhood, 2 blocks away. It's called the Boneyard. And I lived in Colorado. I used to mountain bike a ton when I lived back home in Maryland and Pennsylvania. Then I moved to the South, in Charleston, there's no mountains, so there's no mountain biking there. And then I got out here, and I didn't have a mountain bike for the first few years. And this past fall, I bought a mountain bike, and I rode to the top. It was one of the hardest rides I've ever done. I was, I hadn't been biking much, but I pedaled for literally an hour on the switchback up the hill. And then I went down the other side, and it's this unbelievable single track with it's groomed. It's the state champion mountain bike course for Colorado.
Wow.
And they groomed this mountain bike course. And it was, one of the coolest things that I had done in a long time. And I got to the bottom, my hands were shaking. I was like grinning ear. I couldn't stop smiling for like 3 days after the first time I did this ride. And those little things like that, define what you want to do and do them on a daily basis. Not just, Jeff loves the gym. He gets this adrenaline rush from working out. I don't. I need to do something more fun, like rock climbing or mountain biking or hiking with the dog. Do something like that, and that get your blood flowing. It gets you excited, and then when I go sit down in front of the computer for an hour, I can get 5 hours worth of work done because my brain is firing. I'm on top of things. I can't stop thinking of all the positive things in life.
Yeah, like after this video, he's probably gonna go like bust out something.
Yeah, like I get excited in these videos because I know that you've really kicked in and you've got things rolling in my mind right now. I feel like I need to go and find someone.
Thanks for firing us up today.
Well, I'm not kidding you. Listening to you guys talk, I get so fired up every time I do one of these interviews. I am like, it's like, and I totally agree with you. And like that's why I climb 14ers. That's why I exhaust my body in the mountains, because it's something about pushing through that barrier and succeeding at it that just those adrenalines and endorphins are just running, and you can conquer the world. Like you are ready to nail things out, and I totally get what you're saying. So I'm all jazzed up listening to you guys. I'm gonna have to go out and
all right, let's go to work.
do some. Well, and then I was in a seminar for three days, and I wanna tell you guys about this just a little bit. When you're talking about I and you, and what they presented to us is we. And to turn this world into a we world and not an I world or a you world, to turn it into a we world. So, and doing these interviews, I feel like I'm doing that. Like we're bringing people together and showcasing people, but yet it's a we world. So, you guys, Matt and Misty, I thought I knew you a little bit, but I know you a whole lot more on a more deeper level, and I am super stoked to watch you guys even create more in your future and to see your dreams and your goals and your purposes come to life. And I honestly, I have these little visions here and there, and I don't know if you'll agree with this or not, but you guys could so do a reality TV show and change the world. You could change.
I think we can, especially with our Muppet Tessa. Our dog.
Yes. Yes. So I challenge you to that. I see it in your future, whether it be YouTube reality or I don't know what that looks like, but you guys can speak so much life and change into this world, and people that are watching this video, this interview, this coffee chat, whatever you want to call it, if they're not changed after watching this or wanting to make things better in their life, I need to talk to him. So thank you guys so much. This was incredible. I'm not kidding you. And it's just awesome to talk to fellow Coloradoans. I love Colorado. So thank you once again. You guys rock. I'm not kidding. You guys are awesome.
Roxy, was a blast. Thanks so much for having us, and we really appreciate being on your show.
Thank you. Thank you.